Testing the water. Testing the water is needed at least 3 times a week, but no less than twice a week. Preferably every Thursday and every Monday. Before you have your fun for the weekend and after you've had your fun. You'll get these strips. These strips tell you all the chemicals that you're going to need for your pool. It's going to tell you free chlorine, total chlorine, pH, alkalinity, stabilizer, and total hardness. What we're mainly concerned with is alkalinity, pH, and free chlorine. This is the sanitary level of the pool, how comfortable it's going to be when we swim in it, and the total acidity level of the water. The way we test it is by breaking out one of our test strips, testing away from a return jet, someplace that's fairly placid, going arms deep, elbows deep, swirling 3 times, and then doing our color comparison chart after about 15 seconds. So we can tell that we're good on our calcium, slight on our chlorines, little just in line for our pH, and right around the area that we need for alkalinity. Those are vastly important. So if we were on the high side of total alkalinity and pH, we would use muriatic acid. For pH, we use a rate of 12 ounces per 10,000 gallons. And for alkalinity, we use 18 ounces per 10,000 gallons. Most of the time, we just round up. If you're at 12, then we would round up to 15. If you're at 17, we would just round up to the next 10,000. Makes for easier math. Better to overdose it by a little than to underdose it. So for this pool, we're going to add just a little bit of acid for total alkalinity. He was about 10 parts per million out, or 130, with our range being 80 to 120. For pH, we're at 7.2 to 7.8. And for chlorine, we would be at 3 to 5 parts per million. This pool is 20,000 gallons, so I know I'm going to need roughly a third of a gallon. For alkalinity, we come to the deep end of the pool. We pour it directly in. And then we leave it undisturbed. If this was pH, we would put it in a bucket of water, mix the bucket of water, and then pour it around the perimeter of the pool. For chlorine, we would take it and walk it direct length around the pool. That's if we're low. If we're high, we need to either cut back on our chlorinator or our salt chlorinator, the percentages output. There's a distinct difference between superchlorinating the water and increasing chlorine level. If the pool is clear with no issues, then we can add half the amount that we would when we shock the pool. Shocking is usually 1 gallon per 15,000 gallons or 1 pound per 10. If you have darker colored plaster, it's suggested that you use liquid chlorine within the body of water to protect the plaster, because of the undissolved particles or undissolved granules that fall to the bottom tend to bleach everything out. So use liquid chlorine. If you have a verifiable problem, dead animal, feces, algae outbreak, somebody with pneumococcal, streptococcal, staph infection who has entered the water, then you should shock the water. You need to stay out 8 to 12 hours after you shock the water. If you just add half the amount, which you're just increasing chlorine level, all you have to do is stay out about 45 minutes.